Hello and welcome. Tonight, Nigeria police cleared the air on the controversy surrounding the alleged raid on Nigeria Labour Congress headquarters in the Central District of Abuja, say operation was in search of an international terrorist traced to the complex. 6 passengers, including the driver of a commercial vehicle traveling from Takum to Wukari in Taraba State, shot dead by gunmen in the border community of Benue State. Governor Agbo Kefas condemns the killing. And explosion rocks the secretariat of the Action People's Party in River State. Commissioner of Police Tunji Disu leads a delegation of officers to inspect the facility in Port Harcourt as state chairman of the party vows never to succumb to intimidation.
And on business news, Nigeria's crude oil production rises to 1.3 million barrels per day in July, and that's according to OPEC's latest report.
On sports news tonight, Atletico Madrid complete 82 million euros signing of Argentine striker Julian Alvarez from Manchester City on a 6-year deal.
From Abuja, the nation's capital, the National Youth Service Corps invalidates the certificates of 101 individuals who were fraudulently mobilized for national service by the University of Calabar.
And in international news from London, Ukraine and Russia have blamed each other after a fire broke out at the giant Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant on Sunday.
The Nigeria police has cleared the air on the controversy surrounding the alleged raid on Nigeria Labour Congress headquarters in the central area of Abuja. Speaking on our political program, Politics Today, the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi explains that the well-coordinated joint operation was carried out in search of an alleged international terrorist. He called on the leadership of the NLC to come forward and assist the police in the curbing of all forms of criminal activity.
We have been working on a particular man who has been a global criminal, not only a threat to Nigeria or African continent, but to the whole world. And incidentally with our scientific analysis of certain information about this man, we discovered that he's on the 2nd floor of the Labour House. And with the nature of the case, whether there is any authority or no authority, it was a coordinated operation. We went to the 2nd floor. We had a target. I was shocked when the allegation came that operatives went to the 10th floor to ransack. I wouldn't know. I'm not saying the Labour is being economical with the truth, but perhaps the leadership must have been misinformed. Maybe those who were on the ground, the first responder went after the police, the team must have left the place. Maybe they have given the Labour leadership a wrong information about it. It is not that the operative, the squad, let me use the squad now, went to ransack the Labour Secretariat. We had a target, we went to the Labour House, and we were able to trace a particular man to that place. Only if Labour can understand and have the information we have at hand concerning this particular man, the Labour will not even raise any issue of whether their secretariat was ransacked or the Labour House was ransacked, because we are talking of patriotism in this regard. We are talking of national security. We have many information against the man, and we have recovered documents to prove that this man is a threat to Nigeria, a threat to Africa, and a threat to the whole world.
6 travelers, including the driver of a commercial car traveling from Takum local government to Wukari local government area of Taraba State, have been shot dead by gunmen. The incident occurred at Sai community, a border community of Benue State overstretching into Taraba. Confirming the incident, the chairman of Takum local government area, Mr. John Ali, explained that the hoodlums emerged from the bush and opened fire on the moving vehicle. According to him, the National Union of Road Transport Workers have been warned against plying the route early in the morning due to the volatile nature of that road.
From Sai to Wukari is a tied road. From Takum to Shenshenji to that place, the road is very rough. They have to slow down. While they slow down, they fire fire, they opened fire on them and killed 6 passengers, including the driver. I've instructed the security men to go and carry the corpse and then see what they can do to go after these hoodlums. Already there is a team of patrol put in place by His Excellency immediately after the killing of the chief of Chenji. The patrol team were preparing to move into their various routes of patrol. They normally come out around 7 a.m. But we earlier had security meeting with the union, the leader of the transport workers. We even warned them that they shouldn't be plying the road as early as possible in the morning, because by that time, security agencies, those who are on patrol and those who are mounting roadblocks have not yet come. I don't know why this one left early morning and became the victim. So the government is doing everything possible to make sure that they apprehend the culprits.
Meanwhile, Governor Agbo Kefas has condemned the attack on the passengers. In a press statement signed by his special advisor on media and digital communication, he says he received with deep sadness the news of the killings and vows that the perpetrators will not escape justice, while promising to rid the state of all acts of criminality, and enjoins residents to support the government and law enforcement agencies with credible information. Still talking security, suspected hoodlums have set ablaze the Redeemed Christian Church of God located along Federal College of Education Road in Kontagora, Niger State. This marks the second time in 10 years that the church has been targeted, with the previous incident occurring a decade ago when unidentified attackers burned down the building and then warned against its reconstruction. The chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in Niger State, Most Reverend Bulus Yohana, condemned the latest attack, describing it as barbaric and uncalled for. Reverend Yohana emphasized the need for the law to take its course, stressing that such incidents must be curtailed and those responsible should be held accountable. In River State, the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Tunji Disu, says his men are actively investigating the explosion that rocked the secretariat of the Action People's Party in Port Harcourt in the early hours of today. Mr. Disu, who led a delegation of officers to assess the damage at the facility, called for vigilance while he awaits the outcome of the investigation. The national and state chairmen of the party also expressed their resolve to continue their activities despite what they described as attempts to intimidate the party.
What could have begun as a regular day for the Action People's Party, a relatively unknown political organization that recently gained popularity in River State, took a sudden turn. Around midnight, an explosive device was detonated outside the party secretariat in the Highbrow New GRA area, Port Harcourt, causing some damage, including shattered windows near the blast site. Hours after the incident, the River State Commissioner of Police, Tunji Disu, is leading a high-level delegation of officers to assess the damage at the secretariat. The inspection was carried out under the supervision of the national and state chairman of the party. The CP gives his initial assessment of the situation.
We deployed our teams to come here and take charge of the area. The bomb squad has been sent here, and I'm waiting for their report any minute from now. I will not want to go deep into that because I have not gotten my full reports. Definitely, everybody should be concerned about their safety and their security. I don't want to go deep down into some things I don't want to mention now, but most importantly, everybody have to take their security very important. Like I quickly sent in our officers in here yesterday, because anywhere there's an explosion, there's likely to be a second one. So usually we move people away from that. And that is what my team succeeded in doing yesterday.
Reacting to the incident, the national chairman of the Action People's Party attributes the attack to the perception that several members of the opposition parties were planning to defect to the APP ahead of the October local government election. He called on the police to arrest and prosecute those responsible.
We are calling upon Mr. President, the heads of security agencies, to go after these criminal elements whose interest is to instill fear, instill violence in River State. We as a party, we are not deterred. We are sure that they are getting the signal of Rivers people joining our party in preparation for the forthcoming local government election.
The state chairman of the party, Mr. Sonny Woke-Koro, also voiced his determination, stating that despite the apparent intimidation, the party remains undeterred in its mission to reshape the political narrative in Rivers State.
These uncivilized acts of people who think that they are reservoirs of violence, who think that they are reservoirs of knowledge, who think that Rivers State must control whatever they want or whatever they interact. We have come to change the narrative. Whether anybody likes it or not, one thing that is constant in life is change.
This unfortunate incident is the latest in a series of dramatic developments that have recently characterized the political scene in Rivers State.
To politics now in Edo State, where the state government has accused Mr. Philip Shaibu of impersonating the deputy governor of the state and advised him to stop presenting himself as such. This is coming after Mr. Shaibu's broadcast where he directed staff of his office yet to resume work since his reinstatement to do so or face the consequences. After his impeachment, Mr. Shaibu challenged the matter in court, and Justice James Omotosho declared that the impeachment by the State Assembly was illegal. In addition to that, Justice Omotosho ordered the Inspector General of Police to restore Mr. Shaibu's security details and directed that his salaries and allowances be paid from April when he was removed from office. However, the Edo State House of Assembly appealed the judgment and filed for a stay of its execution pending the determination of the appeal. In a swift response to the matter, the State Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Chris Naikari, said the issue of his purported reinstatement is still active in court, with the next hearing for the two separate motions filed by the state government and the Edo State House of Assembly challenging the purported reinstatement by Justice Omotosho scheduled for September this year. Mr. Naikari adds, and I quote, "The state, through the Attorney General of Edo State and the Edo House of Assembly, represented by their lawyers, has sought an order for a stay of execution of the purported reinstatement, an order suspending the judgment and restraining order preventing Shaibu from presenting himself or attending any official function as deputy governor pending the hearing and determination of the appeal." End quote. According to him, the status quo remains that Mr. Omobayo Marvelous Godwin is the deputy governor of Edo State, and any correspondence carried out by any other person, including Philip Shaibu, constitutes impersonation, and anyone dealing with him does so at their own risk. The All Progressives Congress in Edo State, in the meantime, has vowed to investigate Governor Godwin Obaseki if elected into office in the September 21st governorship election. The deputy governorship candidate of the party for the forthcoming poll, who was among speakers at an APC Edo South Leadership Forum in Benin City, the Edo State capital, also insisted that the party was determined to protect their vote on election day and prevent rigging. A former deputy governor in the state, Pius Odudu, also at the event termed the PDP government as wicked for allegedly demolishing a hospital in the city center for the purpose of setting up a car park.
Almost all the contracts that have been executed in Edo for the past 7.5 years, a time of reckoning will come where we will ask questions. We are aware that he has constituted a transition committee, but that transition committee cannot save him. Even if he hides all the books, we have intellectuals in Edo's hands. We are going to investigate everything. Let me assure you, our government will protect and respect traditional institutions. We believe in one man, one vote. Anybody, any political party that thinks they can humiliate, harass, intimidate the Edo people, you cannot rig our election. We are going to vote and protect our votes. Wittingly or unwittingly, all the grains recorded during the Absolute regime were put in reverse order. Don't water abandoned, correct? Yes. Hospital demolished for car park, correct? Yes. Lettery demolished for shop rent, correct? Yes. In fact, governance was IMAC. PDP is nothing but MOU promise as audio project. I'm sure those of us from Obia artists are using Genesis for car. I'm sure you are using the airport in the donor now. In fact, PDP government is a wicked government. Any government that will destroy hospital and bring her back is a wicked government.
In part two, after the break, Labour Party calls for the cancellation of the 2023 Imo governorship election due to overvoting, open vote buying and the brutalization of its party agents. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Nigeria police clear the air on the controversy surrounding the alleged raid on Nigeria Labour Congress headquarters in the central district of Abuja, say operation was in search of an international terrorist traced to the complex. 6 passengers, including the driver of a commercial vehicle traveling from Takum to Wakari in Taraba State, shot dead by gunmen in the border community of Benue State. Governor Agbo Kefas condemns the killing. The explosion rocks the Secretariat of the Action People's Party in Rivers State. Commissioner of Police Tunji Disu leads a delegation of officers to inspect the facility in Port Harcourt as state chairman of the party vows never to succumb to intimidation. And Ukraine and Russia trade blame after fire breaks out at the giant Zaporizhia nuclear power plant on Sunday. Still talking politics, and political parties are gearing up for the Kwara State local government election scheduled for September the 21st this year. While the ruling All Progressives Congress says it is ready for the exercise, the opposition People's Democratic Party, the PDP, are expressing reservation ahead of the polls.
Members of the recently inaugurated Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission are gearing up for the local government elections in the state. For nearly 5 years, sole administrators were at the helm of affairs across the 16 local government areas in Kwara State. The Commission plans to hold the exercise on September 21, 2024.
The 21st day of September is chosen as election day. There are some line-up programs before that day, in which from one program to the other, from another program to the other, from another program to the other, up till the last day of the election, which is September 21st, 2024.
The All Progressives Congress is prepared to participate in the exercise and is confident of victory.
We are fully ready. From the date that the timetable was rolled out, we've been preparing our home. In fact, we are 85% ready because we don't know what will come next from the QUASEC. That is why we are reserving the 15%. So when we are talking of consensus, we are ready to go the whole hog to ensure that candidates emerge before we ask them to be making payments.
However, the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party expressed reservation on the preparedness of the commission.
By the conduct and body language of Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission, the PDP in Kwara State is not yet convinced that the commission is fully prepared for the local government election upon which it has released timetable. As of today, aside from the timetable which was cited by Kwaras on social media platform, the commission has yet to release any guideline for this forthcoming election.
The commission is promising to ensure the conduct of free and fair elections next month.
More politics. The Labour Party has called for the cancellation of the November 11th, 2023 Imo governorship election due to overvoting, open vote buying and the brutalization of its party agents before, during and after the elections. Briefing newsmen at the National Secretariat of the party, the National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Obiora Ifo, called the rulings of the tribunal and the Court of Appeal miscarriage of justice, as the party presented overwhelming evidence before them. The party called on the Supreme Court to right the wrongs of the lower courts by nullifying the election and ordering fresh elections to be conducted. So let's head to the nation's capital, and Gloria Umezuke is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Hello, Gloria.
Many thanks, Ayo. We begin with the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, which has invalidated the certificates of 101 individuals who were fraudulently mobilized for national service by the University of Calabar during the 2021, 2022, and 2023 service years. According to a statement signed by the Director, Information and Public Relations of the Corps, Mr. Eddie Megwa, the organization took this action to maintain the integrity of the National Service Program and prevent unqualified individuals from participating. The statement adds that the affected individuals were found to have been mobilized fraudulently and their certificates have been cancelled immediately as part of the NYSC's strong commitment to ensuring that only qualified individuals are issued certificates of national service. The NYSC also advised the public, especially core employers, government ministries, departments and agencies, corporate and religious organizations, multinational companies and core producing institutions to verify the authenticity of certificates presented to them. The Nigeria Immigration Service has announced the launch of a formal investigation into the incident of a female traveler who destroyed a Nigerian standard passport at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. A statement signed by the Public Relations Officer of the service, Deputy Comptroller of Immigrations, Mr. Kenneth Udo, says the individual has been identified and invited for further investigation, and if the allegations are substantiated, her actions would have constituted a breach of Section 10B of the Immigration Act 2015 as amended, with corresponding penalties outlined under Section 10H of the same Act. The statement adds that the Nigeria Immigration Service remains steadfast in its commitment to upholding the provisions of the Immigration Act in the interest of national security and to preserving the dignity and integrity of the nation's legal instruments. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has emphasized the need for the country to enhance its energy competitiveness and bring about transformative changes and prosperity to Nigeria. He was speaking while commissioning 30 hybrid buses capable of using compressed natural gas and diesel. The ceremony took place at the State House after the Federal Executive Council meeting. Our State House correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, reports.
President Bola Tinubu chairs the Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House, and the first task of the day is the valedictory session for the outgoing head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson. The President commends Dr. Yemieson for her exemplary service to the country.
We express our deep gratitude for her unwavering commitment and the significant impact she has made in our country. We thank you very much.
Following closely is the swearing in of the new head of service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Wilson-Jack.
So help me God. That God will continue to guide you, provide you with the food, your wisdom, and enhance your integrity to serve this country and the civil service in the most transparent and successful manner.
The meeting then dissolved into a closed session for over 2 hours. However, there was no briefing on the deliberations from the meeting. Rather, council members made their way to the commissioning of 30 hybrid buses. The president appreciates the use of compressed natural gas for public transportation.
If we can enhance our energy competitiveness and bring about transformative changes like this, we would definitely be able to achieve the prosperity that we are working hard to accomplish for our people.
The president then commissioned the buses. The Depot and Petroleum Product Marketers Association donated 20 buses, while the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited donated 10 buses.
And we're hoping that this one will, to a large extent, enhance our strides to prosperity in Nigeria.
It's going to be very significant because CNG, apart from being cleaner, is much, much cheaper. And so, because it's cheaper to fuel the vehicles, the price is going to be way, way down.
It's expected that the donation of these buses will lead to more donations across the country, in addition to the buses to be provided by the federal government and the state government. From the presidential villa, Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10. Nigeria's crude oil production rises to 1.3 million barrels per day in July, and that's according to OPEC's latest report. But that's in business news. This one's today. We're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. In Kaduna, Governor Uba Sani has flagged off the distribution of 15,000 metric tons of fertilizers to farmers across 23 local government areas of the state. While speaking at the ceremony, Governor Sani says the free fertilizer distribution is a demonstration of his administration's commitment to re-energizing the agricultural sector, which he notes is a vital contributor towards economic prosperity.
As part of efforts to ensure food security in Kaduna State, the state government has procured 15,000 metric tons of fertilizers to be distributed for free to 120,000 smallholder farmers across the state. The Murtala Mohammed Square in the state capital is filled to capacity as Governor Uba Sani and his deputy, Dr. Adiza Balarabe, are present to flag off the distribution.
Senator Uba Sani.
The State Commissioner for Agriculture and Secretary to the state government described the event as a crucial step towards addressing the problem of food insecurity in the state.
With the timely application of these fertilizers, we anticipate a significant boost in crop production, which will enhance food security and reduce poverty levels across Kaduna State.
As we proceed with the distribution of these fertilizers, I urge our farmers to use them wisely and responsibly. Let us make the best use of this opportunity, which is unprecedented, to boost our harvest and strengthen the food security of our state.
Governor Uba Sani reiterates his government's commitment towards improving the agricultural sector in the state and speaks on his achievements in the sector.
This initiative clearly demonstrates our steadfast commitment to empowering our farmers and re-energizing our agricultural sector. Agriculture is not only the backbone of our state economy, but also a vital contributor to our overall growth and development. According to our latest GDP report, agriculture contributes 42.81% to Kaduna State GDP and employs about 42% of the total workforce.
The governor also believes his administration is transforming Kaduna into a powerhouse of food production to benefit the country.
Our state is a significant player in Nigeria's agricultural landscape, ranking first in the production of ginger, contributing 76.4% to the national output. We also lead in maize production, contributing 7.4% of the national yields. And we rank second in soybeans production, contributing 9.4%. Additionally, we are proud of our contributions to tomato, sorghum, rice paddy, and coffee production.
The governor then performs the presentation of the free fertilizers to the smallholder farmers. This is a significant occasion as the Kaduna State government, led by its governor, looks to revitalize the agricultural sector in the state.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. For more on the news at 10, it's back to you, Ayo, in Lagos.
Thank you so much, Gloria. In a bid to support Nigerians and help keep their dreams alive, Verve, one of Africa's largest domestic payments card and token brand, has announced the launch of its Good Life Promo 5.0. This initiative aims to enhance their satisfaction with the brand by giving them a 10% discount when they transact with their Verve card.
And go where our hearts take us.
Everyone deserves a good life, and for Verve, it's time to excite customers with a good life experience again. In its 5th edition, the Good Life promo, powered by Verve, has been running since 2020, aiming to reward loyal Verve cardholders with an array of prizes when they use their Verve cards.
Our goal this year is to reward consumers with amazing discounts, up to 10%, and reward across key touch points that are dear to their hearts. Channels like fuel, food, groceries, and more. This year, Verve is partnering with NNPC across over 100 retail stations nationwide, as well as with Chowdeck, Google Play Store, The Place Restaurant, Sweet Sensation, and Adide.
At Verve, we continue to expand our innovation frontiers, making notable impact through thought leadership and a deep understanding of our customer needs. Our goal is to ensure that every Verve card holder has access to seamless payment experience across all the touch points.
Over the past 4 years, Verve has consistently expressed its gratitude to its cardholders through the Good Life promo and rewarded thousands of Nigerians. This year, the brand promises to not only continue the tradition, but also elevate the excitement.
This year is slightly different from what we've done in the past. And why? We are rooted in data. We are rooted in connecting with consumers. And we know that for a lot of people, there's a lot of pressure on disposable income. But Verve's role in all of this is trying to enable consumers to feel less of the pressure, right? To see hope even in the situation.
Free rent or cozy home. From cash rewards to free fuel and more, this initiative is packaged to not only provide financial relief, but add an element of excitement to everyday transactions. The promo will run from August the 15th, 2024 to December the 31st, 2024.
Business News is up next with Will Ibo.
Thank you, Ayotunde. Now, Nigeria's crude oil production has risen to 1.3 million barrels per day in July from 1.27 million barrels per day recorded in June. And that's according to OPEC's latest monthly oil market report. The 30,000 barrels per day increase in output comes as OPEC cuts 2024 global oil demand growth forecast to 2.11 million barrels per day. Nigeria retains its leading position on the chart for Africa's top oil producers within OPEC, followed by Libya and Algeria. However, Nigeria's oil rig count fell to 14 in the month of July from 15 recorded in June. Now we check out the domestic equities market. We kicked off the first trading day of the week in the red. John McWhite tells us more. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report, where we are losing the green that we started the week with.
because at the close of trade today, we see the oil share index down, really down, 0.72%. And we have lost that 98,000 level to 97,881.75. The market cap, as we see, still around 55 trillion naira, 55.57 trillion naira. Now, last week, Boa Cement didn't do so good. Even industrial goods, the counter ended in the red. Unfortunately, Boa Cement is a major driver of the market today. It opened at 126 naira 90 kobo, but closed at 114 naira 30 kobo, losing 12 naira 60 kobo. So there you have it. Boa Cement dragging, obviously, the industrial goods counter further down from what it closed with last week. Now, look at other sectors. Now, banking is still down from last week. It's down 0.31%. There you have it, in the red, in spite of all the activities going on around, because of the bank recap that the CBN had pronounced. We see consumer goods, however, in the green, just a whole percent right there. Consumer goods is up because of flour mill, Dangote sugar and Honeywell flour, and oil and gas has recovered, really recovered, 3.30%. So Orlando is in the news again from last week. I wonder what's going on with that stock. Eternal oil is also up. Japo Gold has also recovered. So we see that counter up, looking very good at 3.30%. But in spite of all of this, is the bear for the first day of the week.
And that's it on business. It's back to you today.
Thank you so much, Will. Still to come on the news at 10. Ukraine and Russia have blamed each other after a fire broke out at the giant Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant on Sunday. To join us again. Welcome back. Simon Pusey is now on standby to give us the very latest and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukraine and Russia have each blamed each other after a fire broke out at the giant Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant on Sunday. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russian forces had started the fire at the plant, which has been occupied by Moscow's forces for more than 2 years. Zaporizhzhia's Kremlin-installed governor said Ukrainian shelling caused the blaze. The development comes as Ukrainian troops have advanced up to 30 kilometers inside Russia in the deepest and most significant incursion since Moscow began its full-scale invasion in February 2022. Ukrainian soldiers have been seen raising their country's flag in several Russian villages. Russia has so far struggled to halt the Ukrainian advance, with more than 76,000 people evacuated from the Kursk region. A wildfire fueled by gale force winds is spreading to the edge of Athens as thousands of residents are told to flee their homes. The fire brigade spokesman said houses caught alight in Varnavas, about 20 miles northeast of the Greek capital, and a children's hospital and military medical facility had been evacuated at dawn. Firefighters from across Greece, around 670 in total, have come to the area north of Athens to help local forces. The US has sent a guided missile submarine to the Middle East as tensions grow in the region. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin also said an aircraft carrier, which was already heading to the area, would sail there more quickly. The move comes in response to fears of a wider regional conflict after the recent assassination of senior Hezbollah and Hamas leaders. Iran is being closely watched for any indication of how and when it might respond to the assassination of Hamas's top political leader, Ismail Haniyeh, in Tehran on the 31st of July. Hong Kong's top court has unanimously dismissed the bid to overturn the convictions of media tycoon Jimmy Lai and 6 other pro-democracy campaigners for an unauthorized assembly in 2019. 76-year-old Lai, the founder of the pro-democracy newspapers Apple Daily and others including Martin Lee, had been found guilty of organizing and participating in an unauthorized assembly in August 2019. Mr. Lai has been held in solitary confinement for more than 3 years since December 2020. He is now facing a separate national security trial and serving a sentence of 5 years and 9 months after being convicted of violating a lease contract for his now shuttered newspaper's headquarters. The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, has been sworn in for his 4th term in a ceremony marked by pomp and colour at the fully packed Amahoro Stadium in Kigali. While some hail Mr. Kagame for bringing peace and stability to his country after the 1994 genocide, others accuse him of running a repressive regime in a country where ordinary people are afraid to openly criticize him.
To achieve and sustain peace.
Only 2 other candidates were allowed to stand against Mr. Kagame in the election. A pilot has died after their helicopter crashed into the roof of a hotel in Australia during an unauthorized early morning flight. The aircraft hit the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel in the northern Queensland city of Cairns at around 1:50 local time on Monday morning, sparking a fire and forcing the evacuation of hundreds of guests. Authorities say the only occupant of the helicopter died at the scene, and 2 hotel guests, a man in his 80s and a woman in her 70s, were taken to hospital in a stable condition. Some local media reports have suggested that the helicopter was stolen. And Paris is starting to get back to normal, with Olympic venues being cleaned up and traffic routes restricted during the Games opening up once again. After 19 days of competition, 329 gold medal events, and 10,500 athletes competing in the Olympics, the landscape of the French capital is gradually returning to normal. It's after a dazzling closing ceremony where the Olympic flame was blown out by the head of the IOC with other athletes before he announced the handover of the Games to Los Angeles. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Atletico Madrid have signed Julian Alvarez from Manchester City earlier today. The deal reported to be worth up to 85 million euros. The Spanish side will pay 75 million euros for the forward, with potentially 10 million more in bonuses. 24-year-old scored 36 goals for City in 103 appearances across all competitions. And that sports is back to Ayotunde.
And the main news again. The Nigeria police today said the well-coordinated operation at the NLC headquarters in Abuja was in search of an international terrorist traced to the complex. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Have a good night.